College football is back, and we're back live on the Big Mountain.
It's another Wednesday. It's another live show.
Love it.
I'm really excited.
Me too.
The dwellers don't know. I was singing just before we got on.
Yep.
I'm not going to sing now,
but
I was singing in the pregame.
You know JY's excited when he starts singing.
I'm feeling good. We had, Steve, we had a really good week 2. We had a really bad week 3.
Yeah.
And we're going to come back with a big week 4. But before we get to all of that, we got some important stuff to do.
Yes.
It's minor night. I officially called this 30 minutes ago. I put it on X. Minor night. I got my UTEP shirt on. Pay Dirt Pete.
Pay Dirt Pete.
I haven't worn this for a while. And we have our number 5 Dweller Brew, the Minor Brew, Blonde Ale from Dead Beach Brewery in El Paso. And this is freaking awesome.
Made in El Paso.
I was smart this time. I actually gave our producer a pic that he can put it up on the damn screen.
Very nice.
Instead of us trying to hold it up so everybody can see it.
So we going to crack them?
Let's crack them.
Let's crack them. I'm not chugging it because I don't want to go,
don't hurt yourself. There it is. It's a blonde ale. I'm taking a nice... Oh, it smells good. That tastes like a blonde ale. A light blonde ale. It tastes like a light blonde ale.
I like it.
Yeah, it's a light blonde ale. It's 4.1%, which means I could drink 2 or 3 tonight. Unlike the UC Davis Aggie one, which was 6 point something.
Yes, yes.
Little different.
What was the one? Was that the one that was really
that was the
bubbly
IPA
that made me go, pah?
No, that was
was that
what
the
was
red?
that? That was the State Light.
Oh,
remember that was
yes,
so
yes,
fresh.
Yes.
I pulled that sucker right off of the line in Williamsport and brought it down here, and it made your head pop off almost. Anyway, thank you so much, Sierra Nevada Sam. Our boots on the ground. He was in New Mexico. He was in Texas. He got us this minor brew. He sent us a second one as well. I'm going to keep that hush-hush, but we do have a 6th minor brew that we'll be doing here probably next week or the week after. And, man, we're getting at it now. Up to 6 minor brews.
So minor brew is our number 5 Dweller Brew, correct?
Oh, yeah, my bad. Yeah, I'm calling them minor brews. Yeah, this is our number 5 Dweller Brew. And I mentioned, and people like the idea, that we're going to get a shelf for our minor brews.
Yes.
Shelves are on order. Hopefully you'll see that next week. So, all of our brews up on top.
So shelves with some brews.
Yeah.
And maybe some pennants on either
Once
side.
we get some more pennants, we'll get them hanging. But we'll get the brews up. I'm hoping to have the brews up there next week. So anyway, some quick news. Steve and I think I put this on X, but I don't think we've told our dwellers yet on a pod. You and I are going to be heading to Annapolis in 2 weeks. Well, 2 weeks and 2 days, 3 days, about 15 days. To go see the Air Force Navy game. We have media credentials in Annapolis at Navy. Noon game. Retired Navy chief right here. Going to be a special day, Steve.
I'm super excited. While I was active duty, I was able to go to 2 Army Navy games, but never a Navy Air Force game. And because the Army Navy games are always at a neutral site stadium, I've never seen a game in Annapolis in their field. I've been by their field, so I'm super excited. This will be a first for the Big Mountain. This will be a first for me. Really super, super excited.
So we got that coming up the beginning of October, and then 2 weeks after that, I'll be in Texas for the homecoming at Tarleton State. I've already communicated. They're excited to have me. I'm even more excited to be there. And then I'll be going to the Border War the next weekend. So October is going to be intense.
Yes, very cool. And you'll be covering it as press in the press box again?
I'm not for the Border War. Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm not 100% sure what I'm doing at Tarleton.
Okay.
I'm guessing. I don't think I will be for Tarleton State.
Okay.
I think I'm just going to kind of take it all in. I am going to do it. I'll get pictures and video. We'll do a tour.
Yeah.
And I'll get that stuff to the producer. He can do like we did at UNLV and do like a whole spiel at Tarleton. But I don't think I'm going to be doing anything live.
Are you taking your son with you?
Yes, my son will be with me.
You should have him be your cameraman and follow you around.
I don't think he's going to want to do that, but I will certainly ask him.
Yeah.
I need you. You're really good at taking the pics. I just walk around and look, and you're snapping photos all over the place.
I think your son would do a good job.
Well, I'll tell him just to, he's got a phone for crying out loud. Yeah. All right, shout out to our dwellers in the house. Steven is dweller number 1, welcoming everyone in. Thank you, Steven. We got new to this, reminding everyone to like and subscribe if you haven't already. Erickson, James is in, Rumblings is in, Mike the Michael saying hello to everyone, Brad, Moses, Matthew, Big Mama is here right at the beginning of the show. Las Vegas Larry's here at the beginning of the show. Happy Hump Day. Welcome to you. We have several of our members. So great to have you here. And then is it G418? So done trying to figure out Hawaii. Yeah. I'm not. I got it figured out, and I'm making the pick, and I feel pretty confident in my pick.
And you've been right on with Hawaii, I think, this season.
Yeah.
The only thing that's
I think I'm 3 for 3 on it. Let me think.
Yeah, you said they weren't going to beat
Hawaii.
Arizona. They were going to get spanked by Arizona. Really, the only thing that's been, normally Hawaii is Jekyll and Hyde up and down. This year, I think they've been pretty consistent.
They have been.
The only thing that's throwing them off a little bit is their quarterback injury situation.
Correct.
But for the most part, they've played pretty well.
I shouldn't say that. I didn't pick them last week because we didn't have a line versus Portland State. They didn't. There was a late line that they didn't cover versus Portland State. So that one did surprise me. I'll give you. I would have picked that if we had a line.
Yeah. Okay.
So the Portland State, it was like a 20-point differential.
Yeah.
Of course, Alejado didn't play, so I'll give credit to that comment for sure. Last week, I was expecting to put up a lot more points, but they didn't need to. They won the game easily.
David Jorgensen is here.
That's
right. Big Nebraska fan, go Big Red, and huge Nebraska game this week as they host Michigan. We'll be picking that here in a little bit.
All right, Steve. Well, I'm going to put up our first poll. Hopefully our producer's ready. I didn't really ask him. But we'll get it up here eventually. And I have 2 polls tonight. One's for the Big Ten, one's for the Mountain West. The Big Ten, they're both really the same question.
Yeah.
But again, 2 different conferences. And it's just, what is your biggest surprise in terms of record for Big Ten teams? And I never asked Steve what he thinks I should put on these. I just do them on my own. So hopefully it's kind of fun for you too.
Yes.
And I went both positive and negative.
Yes.
You know, okay, surprise to the good and maybe surprise to the not so good. And I don't want to rush our producer because I did not prep him for this, but he'll get that one up. In terms of who is the biggest surprise in the Big Ten. Before it gets up, who's your biggest surprise right now if you had to pick one?
Oh,
I'm putting you on the spot.
Yeah. Let's see. Well, let's put the poll.
Okay, there it is.
Yeah. So you have Maryland going 3-0. I don't think a huge surprise. I questioned, could they get, some wins out of conference before they got into conference, and they did. They went 3-0.
They did.
They've done that almost every year. I think the last 2 years I called them the worst 5-0 team in the country.
You have said that.
I don't know if they'll get to 5-0. Michigan State 3-0. Purdue, probably my biggest surprise is that Purdue's 2-1.
I thought maybe that because you were pretty down on them.
Yeah. So I would say that's probably one. And UCLA, I'm not surprised at all. I think I picked them to go like 3-8 this season, or 3-9.
So maybe one on there I didn't put that you would say, I'm a little surprised by X.
Yeah, honestly, I think Purdue.
Purdue? Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yep.
So Steve says Purdue. Get your votes in now. We're going to start with our picks. Big Ten first. Steve has, what do you have? You have 8 Big Ten picks.
Yeah.
And then you have your 2 other picks, Clemson and Florida State. Yep. I have, what do I have? I have 18, yeah. I have 9 Mountain West picks with a few over-unders thrown in there, going back to the over-under picks. And then I've got 4 other picks. I have the PAC 2, NIU, and UTEP. As I said, it's a UTEP night.
Yeah.
UTEP shirt, UTEP brew, UTEP pick. And I'm doing 2 picks. I'm doing an over-under on them, too. It is a minor night. I hope Miner fans are on. Say hello. If you're a Miner fan, say hello in the chat. Okay, Steve.
You have 1 or 2.
Well, let's go.
Okay, let's roll. So, right out of the gate, Friday night. This is a banger of all bangers, JY. I bet you cannot wait to catch some of this game. Iowa traveling to Rutgers.
It's a banger.
Yeah, Rutgers, Iowa is the 2.5-point favorite as they travel to Piscataway, New Jersey. I like saying that word.
I'm glad you said it.
Yeah. This game is interesting. Iowa traditionally kind of crappy offense. They've been up and down. They're trending up on offense this year so far. Rutgers, Kaliakmanis has played really well. You were surprised in my preseason. I had a lot of confidence in Kaliakmanis.
Yep.
He's played well. The Rutgers offense has played well, but the Rutgers defense looks like UNLV's defense week 1, but just every week it's like that. They're letting up a lot of points. Iowa's scoring more points than normal. Yeah. I'm going with Iowa to cover the 2.5. I'm not quite confident enough to make it a lock, but I was kind of close. But I'm going with them to cover the 2.5. I think they'll win the game. I think they win the game comfortably. But you never know. Iowa is definitely one of those teams that they love, just like, winning on a last-minute field goal or losing on a last-minute field goal kind of team. So I'm going with them to cover the 2.5. Funny enough, I think I looked at the over-under on this game. I'm not making an over-under pick, but just to kind of throw it out there, I think it was 42, maybe 42.5 when it opened. I think it got up to 45. If I was making an over-under pick, funny enough, I probably would go with the over.
Yeah.
Just because Iowa's scoring more points and Rutgers' defense is awful. So, yeah, I'm going Iowa minus 2.5.
Well, based on your early season recommendations, I'm on the Rutgers under for their wins.
Yeah,
so
this would help.
For that reason only, Iowa better win the damn game.
Yeah, I think they will. And
okay.
Yeah, and Gronowski, the transfer from North Dakota State, he started a little rough game 1, but he's been getting better and better, more comfortable. And again, Rutgers' defense is really, really bad. And what they're really bad at defending is a mobile quarterback that can make plays with his legs and his arm, and that's basically Gronowski.
Okay.
I think he may have a huge game in this game as he's gotten more comfortable leading this Iowa offense.
Okay, all right. Well, another banger.
Yes.
You're coming out with 2 bangers here. The next one's a real wing dinger.
So Maryland at Wisconsin. Wisconsin is the 10.5 point favorite at home in Camp Randall. I was really surprised at this line, honestly. And you know that I was not high on Maryland this year. However, I have really liked how their quarterback has played.
Yeah.
Malik Washington. He was a guy, Penn State recruited him. I don't know exactly what happened if they took another quarterback through, but this was a guy Penn State wanted, some other Big Ten teams wanted. Really talented guy. He's played really well. Maryland's still been a little bit dysfunctional, but honestly, Wisconsin has as well. And Wisconsin has been beat up by injuries. So I'm going with Maryland plus 10.5. That's just way too many points. I don't even know if this could be a 10-6 game. I don't know if Wisconsin scores more than 10 points in this game. So I'm going Maryland plus 10.5, and I'm making it my first Big Mountain ice cold lock for week 4.
I bet you if I asked you preseason if you were ever going to lock Maryland, you would have said, yeah, probably not.
Probably not.
But I am also with you. I am surprised at the line here. I would have thought it'd be 6.5 or less.
Yeah.
The fact that you're getting over 10 points is incredible. So I love the pick. I love the lock.
I was really thinking that this would be almost a coin flip game where it could have been even Wisconsin 2.5 point favorites just because they're at home. Right.
Or maybe Maryland a 2-3 point favorite because they've been playing a little better. When I saw double digits, I was like, I got to take all those points.
Sure. I hear you.
All right, let's go to Oregon State and Oregon. One of several picks you and I are both going to make. So I'm not going to make probably too many comments because I'll be picking them later on.
Well, Oregon State at Oregon, you have one of the best teams in the country versus, honestly, potentially, and I'm not trying to piss any Beavs fans off, one of the worst FBS teams this year. How they've performed so far this season, it's looking pretty rough for them as far as where they're going to get wins. Now, Oregon did not cover this last week against Northwestern.
Right.
Northwestern, they were scrappy for a while. They were running the ball well. They gave Oregon some fits. And at one point, Oregon had the spread covered, but then Northwestern came back, scored some late points. So they didn't cover in that game. But most games this year, they've been scoring. This is the border war. I think they're going to want to keep their foot on the gas and score as many points as they can and embarrass Oregon State if not border war, Civil War.
I was going to wait till you were done.
Civil War. The Civil War. They're always changing the name of that thing and whatever. So yeah,
I didn't want to interrupt you.
No,
you
it's
were
great.
On a roll.
I could tell. So this is the Civil War. I think Lanning. I think he's just going to want to score as many points as possible. I don't think he's going to want to take his foot off the gas. Oregon has so much talent, and unfortunately, this Beavs team, they've been decimated since over the last 2 years. Since what's happened, with the PAC falling apart and then their coach leaving, and they just do not look like a good football team this year. Oregon might be one of the top 2 or 3 teams in the country. So I'm going with Oregon to cover 35.5 points. It's a lot of points. It's right on the edge of I don't really like taking picks this big, but I think there's such a difference in talent, difference in performance, and I think the motivation, because it's the Civil War, Oregon's going to want to put up as many points as they can. So taking Oregon to cover the 35.5, and I'm making this another Big Mountain ice cold lock. Boom.
That's a lot of points. You don't like lots of points, but I again, I'm gonna withhold my comments.
Okay.
Other than to say you made a lot of good ones.
Okay. Well, okay. Go.
Well, before you go on, I did make a boo-boo because I didn't have appropriate notes. I am going to put up our stats, Steve, after you're done.
Okay.
So this is more of an audible for our producer because
Gotcha.
I went out of order.
Gotcha.
But in between your picks ending with Florida State and me starting with UNLV, I will throw the slide up about where we're at, just because we said we'd keep everybody honest, or we'd keep each other honest. So we got to do that. And I meant to start with it, but I don't want to interrupt your picks. So
After my week 3 performance, I was hoping we just forgot about
I apologize. But I could have.
We want to keep transparency.
We want to be, we said that. Our very first episode, we said we're going to eat crow when we need to.
Yep.
So anyway, and Michigan. Okay.
Yeah, and I can tell you, you and I were texting. I'm so happy to be into the Big Ten conference season where the Big Ten teams are playing each other instead of a bunch of Big Ten teams playing FCS teams and lower FBS and the point spreads 30, 40 points, yada, yada, yada. This is a high point spread for this game. But let's move on to the next one.
Yes.
I know we have David Jorgensen here. We mentioned earlier Michigan at Nebraska, okay, in Lincoln. We have a Nebraska team that's been playing really well. Dylan Raiola been putting up a lot of points. They haven't really played anybody. And then we have a Michigan team that, kind of in a rebuilding year. They went on the road, lost to Oklahoma. But, they've got a good young quarterback that's starting to put up some numbers. Bryce Underwood. They're finally starting to unleash him. And they're back to being ranked again. I think they're ranked like 21st. Nebraska's still not ranked yet. This game, to me, I was honestly surprised that Michigan was the favorite. Nebraska is getting 2.5 points. I like Nebraska to win this game straight up, so I'm taking Nebraska plus the points. I think I saw on the money line you could get Nebraska plus 115. I don't really do money line picks, but if you like that better than taking I think the money line was plus 115, or you could take Nebraska plus 2.5, and it was minus 115.
Sure,
getting those extra points there. I don't know that you'll necessarily need the points. I think Nebraska wins this game by a touchdown. I just think they're the better team right now. If they played at the end of the season as Bryce Underwood got more time, it might be a little bit different. But I'm taking Nebraska plus the 2.5. I'm not locking it. I think they get the win at home by about a touchdown.
Okay. Well, let's close our poll here, our Big Ten poll for the evening. We'll see what everybody thinks has been the most surprising team thus far. UCLA at 0-3, 36%. Maryland a close second at 27%. Then Michigan State. Then Purdue at 13%, which is apparently about 2 votes, which would have been your vote.
Yeah.
Purdue at 2-1. Did I say 2-0? 2-1. Sorry. And I wanted to give a quick shout out before we get going here too much. Moses is on. He says hello from Illinois. He's a Huskies fan. Hopefully, Moses, you saw our episode. Maybe you didn't listen to it yet. It is a little long, about an hour-long episode with A.D. Frazier. Lots of good stuff that we talk about there. You're going to need some time, or you have to space it out. But we had your AD on. He is a very, very good guy. And came back on with us for the second time, and man, we could just sit and chat with him for hours.
I see we have a bunch of stars on there, meaning we have members.
That's right.
Subscriber members.
That's right.
And just want to throw that out there. We have the Discord going, Game Day Discord. This last week I was at an event prior to the Penn State game. We didn't get to participate as much, but we've had some good lively chat in there, some good Big Ten chat, some a lot of good Mountain West chat, some Notre Dame chat, all kinds of things going on in there. So I highly recommend people get in at whatever level you need to get in so we can get you in the Discord. This week, I'm not going to a Penn State game. I'm sitting on my butt on the couch all day Saturday watching a ton of football, and I'm going to be in the Discord. So I want as many of our members in there as we can get in there.
Okie dokie. All right, you're halfway. Let's keep rolling on some picks.
Yeah. Okay, so the next game is Purdue at Notre Dame. And I forget his name, but one of our members is a Notre Dame fan. I think we've had him. I think he's in the chat. He was a little bummed this week after Notre Dame started 0-2.
Yes.
And, we had the question of, are they, when we did our 10 big things video,
right?
Is Notre Dame eliminated from the playoffs? I don't think so. I think if they run the table and go 10-2, that means they beat USC, who is a good USC team this year. They beat a Boise State, beat a Purdue. I think if they go 10-2, The committee will forget about the 0-2 start to two pretty solid teams, but they basically have to run the table. They have no margin for error.
No.
I think they win easily this week. The line is 24.5, and I'm going to actually take Purdue plus the 24.5. Okay. And then here's my reasoning. I think Notre Dame wins this game. I think they win it easily, pretty convincingly. However, I think they're really, really going to want to establish their run game. Bryce Love hasn't totally gone off yet. They have a solid offensive line, a solid run game, but they really haven't been able to get it going. And I think they're going to try and impose their will on Purdue.
Okay.
This is a team they should be able to just physically go up and manhandle, and I think that's what they do. But I think it'll be enough where the scoring isn't going to be super high because I think they're not going to let it fly, and I think Purdue will score some points. So, again, I think Purdue wins this, or Notre Dame wins this easily, but I'm taking Purdue plus the points, plus the 24.5, just mostly because of the style that I think Notre Dame is going to use this as a get-back-on-track game. And they're going to run the ball, which leads to lower scoring.
Sure.
So I'm taking Purdue plus the points, plus 24.5. But, again, I think Notre Dame wins this easily. I think they're still on track. I think the biggest game of the year for them now is going to be that USC game, which I think is in November, close to Thanksgiving, if I remember correctly.
Okay, so Notre Dame here with a win over Purdue. But Purdue, your surprise team so far.
Yeah.
So we'll see what they get. Coach Odom.
Yep.
It's not a name that our UNLV fans want me to say, but hey, whatever.
Yeah.
Okay, I think, to me, the biggest game of the weekend, at least for the Big Ten, is next.
Biggest game of the weekend, biggest Big Ten matchup so far this season, for sure. Illinois at Indiana. I think they said this was the first time ever these two teams have met as both being ranked.
Wow.
They don't play each other a lot, but this is a huge game. Illinois is the 5.5-point favorite. It's at Indiana. Indiana is rolling. Like, their offense is going. Illinois, they've had some good wins. They got that win on the road at Duke, so they've done this. They've gone on the road before already this season. Tons and tons of experience. Their offense hasn't totally fully exploded like Indiana's yet. They've had some slow starts against some teams. However, I just think the combination, the experience, the talent, I think these are similar talent teams, but I think Illinois, these players have been playing together longer. Altmaier has that experience. I think they go in and get the win. I'm taking Illinois plus the 5.5. Honestly, I think Illinois wins this game straight up.
Yeah.
And the fact that I could get 5.5 points over a field goal, I really like it. So I'm taking them, not locking it, but I'm taking Illinois plus 5.5 points. I kind of look at this game as a coin flip game. I could see a close win either way. I think Illinois probably wins, but the fact that I can get those 5.5 points, I'm going to take it. And that's no knock on Indiana. I still see Indiana as like a 9-10 win team this year. We'll see. A lot of people are calling this basically a play-in or elimination game from the playoff. And whoever wins this really does have a good track on getting to the CFB. And whoever loses it is going to have a lot of work to do. This is a fantastic game. It's on 7:30 on NBC and Peacock. This is going to be the big, Saturday night football game. They're putting a lot of production into it. I'm really excited. I will be watching this game. Fantastic game. I like both of these teams this year. I don't have anything bad to say about Kurt Signetti and his Hoosiers. If they win, I'll be real happy for them.
Yeah.
And I won't be totally surprised because I see this as close to being a coin flip game. But I think Illinois is just a little bit better, so I'll take Illinois plus the 5.5.
Okay, very good. Well, that should be a great game. It's an evening game, so I'll be watching Mountain West at that time. I will not be although I would like to see this game.
Yeah.
I'll be watching Mountain West.
Totally get it.
And what's interesting this week? The big noon kickoff is not a Big Ten game.
It's a Big 12,
that doesn't happen very often.
No, I think they get like either 2 or 4. Big 12 gets a few each year. Colorado had a bunch last season, had a few last season. Yeah, I'm trying to remember what that Big 12 was.
I was hoping you remember. I just know it's not the Big Ten. Somebody will help us out.
I think it's Texas Tech, Utah.
That's what I was going to say.
Which is going to be a fantastic game.
Yeah.
I might be watching that game at noon. Utah, really, really good team. But Texas Tech, they've put some money into this roster. It's going to be a really good game as well.
Yep. All right. Well, I've told people on our thumbnail we had 7 locks tonight.
Yes.
We're 2 in, and we'll see if you have any more.
Okay, well, the next game, Washington at Washington State, the Apple Cup. Washington State pulled off the upset last year. This is a totally different year than last year.
Yes.
Last year, Washington State had John Mateer.
Yes.
Fantastic playmaker. He kept them in that game. I remember we each saw some of that game, and we were like, we couldn't believe how he kept making plays and keeping them in that game. They don't have him anymore. They don't have too much on this roster, unfortunately, and I'm not trying to crap on the Cougs. It's been unfortunate what has happened to them, similar to the Beavs. And Washington, man, they're just hitting on all cylinders. Their quarterback is playing well. Their running back, and I forget his name right now, he is just killing it. He's on the list as like possible Heisman Trophy guy. They are just playing so well. Really, really talented team. And Jed Fish, I think, he's wanting to make a statement. He's wanting to really get the Huskies kind of back in that national conversation again. Mm-hmm. So I'm taking Washington to cover the 20.5 points. I thought this would be a bigger line. I thought this would be closer to 30.
I agree.
So I'm making it another Big Mountain ice cold lock for Washington to cover, the Huskies to cover 20.5 points against Washington State.
I agree. I am very surprised this line's only 20.5. Again, another game I'm going to be picking because I'm picking the PAC side of things. But I'll say that right now. I'm really surprised that this is a 20.5, 20.5 line. So I'll hold my other thoughts.
Okay, all right.
I probably don't have many more than what you just said, but I'll hold them anyway.
Well, the next game, big game, another big interesting game. Undefeated Michigan State and undefeated USC team.
Yep.
Michigan State traveling across the country to play in the Coliseum in LA to play a USC Trojan team that has been firing on all cylinders. Jada Maeva, to me, it looks like maybe the best quarterback in the country. I mean, I think you could make the argument playing in this Lincoln Riley offense. This team is loaded, super talented, and Maeva, I mean, he's just running the offense brilliantly. USC really, really good running game this year. At one point, I think last week they were leading the country in yards per attempt. The defense is playing pretty well. I think I saw somewhere that the USC defense is leading the country in sacks for this year.
Wow, okay.
And you can do that. You get a pass rush going on defense. That makes your entire defense better. They've improved each year since D'Anton Lynn has gotten there. I don't see a lot of weaknesses on this team. I mean, we'll see what they're, later on in the season, how their defense can hold up against like an Oregon.
Sure.
That's going to be a test, but I don't see a lot of weaknesses. The line, the line is 18.5. Mm-hmm. I was, again, very surprised by this line. I would have thought it would have been like a 23.5, 24, 25, somewhere in that range. So I'm taking USC to cover the 18.5 points, and I'm making it another Big Mountain ice cold block. Again, just love USC on this. Michigan State traveling across the country. Aiden Childs has been improved this year.
Yeah.
But he's done it against teams that really couldn't put much pressure on him, really couldn't get in his face. Last year, we saw when he had any pressure on him, he made terrible mistakes. Well, he's going to be playing a team that's leading the country in sacks and improved USC defense. I think they're going to force him to make some mistakes. I like USC to absolutely roll in this game.
I agree. I like these two locks for you here. The Washington State minus 20.5, USC minus 18.5. I may put them together for a parlay for myself because I like them so much. Fia's mentioning a 3-leg parlay between UNLV, Sam Houston State, and Hawaii, all to cover the spread. Well, I'll be picking 2 of those 3 games, the UNLV and the Hawaii game later on. Fia can wait and find out if I agree or disagree with the picks that are put into that 3-leg parlay.
Big Mama's drinking some Busch Light Apple at home.
The heck is that?
I don't know.
Is that a thing?
It puts hair in your chest.
We're drinking, got to say it again, the Minor Brew, compliments of Sierra Nevada Sam, because it's our 5th Dweller Brew. It's fantastic, and I'm going to crack my second because I can.
Me too.
All right, so this goes down really easy. Not going to, anyway. They all do for me, but this one seems a little more easy.
Yeah, a nice, this blonde ale.
Yeah.
There's a joke in there somewhere, but I'm not going to say it. This is a family-friendly show.
I don't think it is.
Okay.
But I want to give a shout-out to some people that have joined us. Tyler's here. He's, of course, a NDSU fan from Fargo, North Dakota. We got T. Kelly, a UNLV fan. Bill, that college football guy, joined us. Nathan, who is a Bulldog fan.
Okay.
I feel like I hear my bulldog trying to get down to us right now.
I think it might have been your printer. I thought you were printing something.
I'm not printing it. Somebody did. I thought it was my bulldog. And so, yeah, we're going to be getting to the Mountain West picks here shortly. But Steve has his 2 other picks, his 2 ACC, possibly someday Big Ten picks, Clemson and Florida State.
Yeah, this season I'm picking Clemson and Florida State games. Last year I picked Florida State only. This year I added Clemson. Next year might be a different team. We'll see.
Holy shnikes.
I'll save that for a later time. But today, Syracuse at Clemson. Obviously Clemson has not had the start that they wanted. I think they're 1-2 now. They got walk-off field goal loss to Georgia Tech. They lost to LSU, who's I think in the AP rankings they're like number 3 or something in the country.
Sure.
So they've had 2 losses. And they're going to be playing a Syracuse team that honestly is not that good this year from what I've seen so far. I have real questions about Syracuse if they. I think this is the game. We talked about Notre Dame's get right game. I think this is going to be Clemson's get right game. So I'm taking Clemson to cover the 17.5 points. I think this is where their running game gets going again, which is going to completely change their offense. And mostly just because Syracuse is not a good team. So I'm taking Clemson to cover the 17.5 points. I'm not locking it. I think Clemson wins this. I think they win it easily by 2 to 3 touchdowns. So 17.5 is right in that range. Yep. So I'm taking Clemson to cover the points.
I hear you, Matthew. Orange on orange action. I think it's disgusting looking. It's what came up in the... I actually had to put the orange paw print over the orange because it came up the orange on orange instead of using purple. Why would we use the other color that the school has? Let's just use the same freaking orange. So I at least found a different color orange, but I know it's disgusting. We're going to get that off really, really quick, Steve. Go to Florida State.
Let's go to Florida State. Boom. Okay, so Florida State, a team that you talk about Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, like Hawaii last year was 1 week to the next. Well, Florida State 1 season to the next. 2 years ago, they just barely missed out on the playoff because their quarterback got hurt and they went undefeated. Last year, go 2-10. They were just absolutely disaster, a walking disaster. Well, this season they started out with a win over Alabama, but really dominated Alabama. They look like a completely different team this year. I think they're just rolling. They're running the ball well. They're doing everything well. And playing against a Kent State team that's just not very good. So I'm taking Florida State. The points are really, really high. Yes. I don't normally take anybody to cover these points. But I think Florida State's they're talented, they're good, and they're motivated to make an impression. After last year, they want to make an impression. Yeah. So I'm going to take Florida State to cover the 45.5 points because I think Florida State, if they really roll, they could put up 50, 60 points.
I agree. And Kent State's not going to put up many points at all, if any, honestly.
Exactly.
So I know it's high. I know you hate them. I would absolutely take FSU into the 50s probably because I just trust them far more than anything that the Kent State. What the heck are they? What's Kent State?
Kent State. They're like the Golden Flashes.
That's what it is.
Yes. Yeah.
Look at those logos though. See, why can't ESPN do that every time?
Yeah, I don't know.
Well, it's not ESPN. It's like AI or some crap is all that it is. But I want to give a couple shout outs here. So Eric says he's got Syracuse covering. Could. We've got Big Mama, of course, loving your pick because Big Mama loves Clemson. So that's no surprise whatsoever. And we've got, you know what I love? I love our dwellers, concern for other dwellers. Brady's wondering if we need to do a wellness check on JEH.
Oh yeah.
But I think JEH was here last week.
He was. He's JH. He's an old salt. He can handle some things. Okay. He's like beef jerky. He can hang around a long time, and
I don't know what that means.
He's tough.
Okay. Oh, tough. Yes, yeah. I got that. Okay. Jerry says, hi, guys. Good to have you here. We've got Mario. Go Lobos. What a freaking start for the Lobos. Loving me some Jason Eck. Loving me some Lobos. They are trying to get people in the seats for this weekend's game. It's looking pretty good. Let's get out there and support the Lobos, Albuquerque.
Absolutely.
They deserve it. And then we've got... there was one other thing I want to say, but I don't remember. All right. So I said we were going to go to the kind of where we're at, the standings,
Yes.
the keeping us honest. Steve, you can cover your eyes and cover your ears because I'm going to talk about it. But you can, if you want to go off set for a few minutes, you can do that.
I'll just keep drinking my beer.
You just keep drinking your minor brew. So we'll throw this up here real quick. Steve, he knows what it is. It is what it is. But hey, it's only week 3, and you come back with a vengeance. You typically have fantastic stats on this stuff. I went back to the old logos like I had last year. It's very, very busy. Very, very busy. But, you see the money lines. You'll see our spread picks, which is what we always pick.
Yeah.
The money line's the straight picks. I keep track of that. We never pick them, but keep track of it. Of course, you're hitting 90% on who's going to win the game.
Yep.
Unfortunately, only 40% on both your locks and your spread picks.
Yes.
But we'll turn that around.
Yep.
And your other picks, which for you is mostly your Clemson and Florida State picks, you're 3-1.
Yeah.
I am 19-6 on, again, money line, straight up picks. I'm hitting a nice 63% on my spread picks for the Mountain West. So very happy with where I'm at. Hopefully I didn't just jinx myself. But I'm also at 40% on my locks. So we got to adjust our locks situation here. Yeah. And my others, hell, it's the best thing that I do is pick out of conference games because I'm
both of us.
71 freaking percent. Yeah, both of us.
Yeah.
And then of course I do our combined. We're 85%. Straight up, we're just under 50% on our spreads. We need to combine us together. Of course, 40%. That's an easy one to figure out.
Yep.
And then we're as you said, 73% on our other picks, 8-3. Holy cow! But hey, I know you're going to have a hell of a week 4.
I'm ready to kick.
I know you are, and I'm ready to have a hell of a week 4 too. So let's get to my Mountain West picks, and we're going to put up the next poll as we start into the Mountain West. Again, similar poll to what we did for the Big Ten. It is, kind of what's the biggest surprise here? I picked a couple Mountain West schools in terms of their records. Fresno State sitting right now at 3-1. Of course, new head coach, turned over a lot of the offense, a decent number of players. Hawaii sitting at 3-1. Great start for Hawaii. You're going to find out if I think they're going to make it 4-1. Remember, Fresno and Hawaii play each other this week. So one of those 3-1s goes to a 4-1, and one goes to a 3-2.
For me, the one that I could rule out for myself is I'm not surprised at all about Hawaii.
Yeah.
Both of us were big on Hawaii this year, on their offense, on their passing game, and we both picked them to beat Stanford, which they did. I'm not surprised about them at all. New Mexico, that record in general. Now, both of us, I think New Mexico being 2-1 it's got to be pretty surprising. And unfortunately, San Jose State being 0-2 is pretty surprising.
Yes.
But for me, I think the most surprising is Fresno. I expect a total rebuild situation there.
Right.
So to me, the Fresno being 3-1, I think is the most surprising. But there's a lot of good category, a lot of good answers on that. But I'm gonna be salty with people if they say Hawaii is their biggest surprise, because if so, they didn't listen to us.
It's their opinion.
Yeah,
Steve.
But they're just picking. It's just by the name Hawaii.
If they always listened to us, they'd only be 40% on their bets.
Yeah.
So let's just keep it real.
All right.
But I agree with you. The least likely of the 3 is Hawaii. That's not a surprise to me. They're a really good team. They're going to be a good team. So no surprise to me that they're 3-1. As you said, we picked them to beat Stanford. New Mexico 2-1, 100% surprise.
Yeah.
Did not have them at 2-1 right now. San Jose State, 100% surprise. Did not have them to be 0-for right now. Clearly thought they would beat CMU in the opener.
Yeah.
I had them as being one of the top teams in the Mountain West. So for them to be 0-2 right now, that's I get that's one game. They should really be 1-1, not 0-2. But for as good as I expected them to be, that's an issue, right? And Fresno State, again, whether they're 3-1 or 2-2, to me, I wouldn't say they're as big of a surprise. To me, it's the Lobos. Just because the same reasons you said for Fresno, I could say for New Mexico, but almost to a whole nother degree because of how much turnover they had throughout that entire organization. For them to be 2-1 and to do what they did to UCLA.
Yes.
2-1 with that whomping of UCLA. At UCLA, I'm picking the Lobos right now, and I'm anxious for this season for them.
Yeah.
So anyway, tell us your guys' thoughts. Put your vote in. I'm going to go through some picks. First one, this is a funny one, Steve. UNLV at Miami of Ohio. Now, this is a noon kickoff
Yes.
in Ohio.
So,
Which means it's a 9 a.m. kickoff for UNLV.
Mm-hmm.
9 a.m.
Because as I learned this year, UNLV is in the Pacific time zone.
Bill?
Just right over at the edge of it.
Our good friend Bill, he helped me teach you where
Yes.
UNLV's at
Yes.
in our country in terms of time zones. So really awkward. That gives me a little hesitation. Holy cow, these kids have to play at 9 a.m. They'll be ready. They'll get up. They'll drink their Gatorades. And they'll be ready to go. The line here is 2.5. Of course, Miami's coming in over. They haven't won a game yet. I see a lot of people throwing shade at UNLV. They haven't beat anybody that even has a win yet. And of course, if they win this game against Miami, they're going to still say the same damn thing. I don't care. I'm taking UNLV minus 2.5. I like the progress they've made. They're coming off of a bye week. They should have gotten even better from what we saw against UCLA. And I like Miami of Ohio as a team. I think they're a decent team, but I think UNLV is going to have too much offense for them. So I'm taking the Rebels.
It cracked me up after week 2 where UNLV's opponents were 0-2. And people were already saying, well, the people they beat haven't beat anybody. Yeah, you know what? They got half their losses from UNLV.
That's what I've been telling people. Like, yeah. I completely agree with you. So there's one of Fia's picks in the parlay.
Yep.
Taking the UNLV
like
against the spread, as am I. So I agree with Fia on that pick. Let's go to the next pick. Nevada versus Western Kentucky. I think it was somebody earlier, it may have been Mike, I don't remember who, Michael or somebody, made a comment, Matthew, I think it was Matthew, made a comment about Nevada really let him down last week.
Yeah.
Totally agree. I was watching that game, 13-0. If you saw my reaction recap video, such a letdown in the second half, and not defensive. The defense played as good as they can. That passing offense is atrocious. This game's at Western Kentucky. The line's 11.5. I have zero confidence in this offense. Like, I wanted to like them, but there's nothing to like about them. Outside of running. They can run the ball somewhat, but they're very one-dimensional. Yep. Western Kentucky's a good team. I like them at home, so I'm taking them minus 11.5. I said in my recap video, Steve, Nevada may not get another win this year.
Yeah,
they may not win another game this year. And that hurts me to say that because I want them to be good.
If I remember correctly, there was some talk too about Nevada having like a good running game coming into this. And the quarterbacks have been running, but I don't know they've gotten much out of their running backs for their run game.
Purdy, well, they had, if you want to hear what I have to say about their game, go back and listen to my recap because I could sit here and talk about it. I just don't have any faith, honestly, in that team, and it pains me to say it.
Yeah.
All right, let's go to what's probably the biggest game that I'm going to pick here. Boise State at Air Force. Of course, Boise with that big disappointing loss there in week 1. They come back, throw all kinds of points down Eastern Washington's throat, have a bye week. Air Force, on the other hand, goes to Utah State, and Utah State throws a ton of points down Air Force's throat to the fact that I'm really questioning the secondary. I saw some people say, well, Calhoun said that they were going to struggle somewhat. You know, they're younger. And, man, if we thought Utah State had a good passing game, Maddox Madsen and this offensive line and Boise has an even better passing game. I'm sorry, they do. That's not a knock on Bryson Barnes. I love the kid.
Yeah.
I've been saying that for forever. Preseason, last year, hell, I like Bryson Barnes. But Boise State's a different animal. Utah State beat them by 19 or 18, 19, something like that. This line's 10.5. I think Boise, they have got to prove a point. They can't lose games anymore. Of course, they have Notre Dame, but they've got to go out and score a ton of points, get this thing on track. Line is 10.5. I'm taking Boise State, and maybe what might be a surprise to people, I am locking the Broncos at Air Force. That's right. I'm locking them at Air Force because I think they are going to roll with their passing game, Steve.
Yeah, I like the pick. I was kind of surprised at the line. I was really interested to see what you were going to do because it is a lot of points, over 10 points. But like you said, Air Force not playing that great, and Boise. I mean, even in that USF game where the score got out of hand, like in the first half, Boise's passing game was going. A lot of that game was like just like turnovers and big plays and that kind of thing. And now our impression of that game has changed.
Sure,
you know,
right.
We saw that game, we're like, oh, Boise might be in trouble this year.
Yeah.
They just ran into a really good USF team that
Sure.
has, just beat Florida a couple weeks ago. So, I like the pick.
All right, let's close our poll, and then I'll keep going. Oh, sorry.
You have so you want to make a over under?
Oh, I do. Let's make the over under here. I'm sorry. I'm also going to take. Thank you. I'm going to take the over 30.5 on Boise as well. Thank you, Steve. Mm-hmm. So I'm so confident in the passing game, and so down on the Air Force pass defense. I am taking the over 30.5 on Boise State's game here. Not locking the over unders here. I'm locking the pick, the minus 10.5 is my lock. But the over 30 for Boise is another pick for me. I think they are going to score plenty of points in this game. All right, so let's look at the, I'm not surprised. It's my number one. About 50% say New Mexico. They're at 2-1, is the biggest surprise so far this season. Uh-oh, Steve, look at number 2.
Yeah, Hawaii.
And then Fresno's there, and San Jose State, they're about, what is that, maybe 3 votes each for San Jose State and Fresno State.
The thing about San Jose State, it was definitely surprising that they lost to CMU, but even in best case scenario, they were going to be 1-1, and
sure,
they're
right.
2 instead. So that's probably, yeah.
I'm not surprised they're at the bottom. It would have been hard for me to... While I'm disappointed that they're 0-2, it would have been hard for me to pick them as the biggest surprise so far this year. And so for me, it's New Mexico. For you, you picked Fresno State, right?
Yeah.
Okie dokie. Zyler's here, coming in late, but looking forward to watching Utah play this weekend. We were just talking about that, Zyler, the big noon kickoff for Utah. Let's see. What's Eric say? Agreed. Boise Air Force. Agreed. Boise, period. Air Force, not great. Yeah.
Zyler, he brought up Utah. We did talk about them earlier, and I said it on another. I don't know if it was the 10 big things or it was another episode. You look at Utah's path this year in the Big 12. I could see them as an 11 or 12 win team and getting to the CFP. Like, they're a really, really good team in a league where there's nobody else that. I mean, we'll see. There's Texas Tech. This is a huge matchup, but they get past Texas Tech.
Yeah.
They could have a stranglehold on the Big 12 and a CFP spot.
Yes, thank you, Mario. New Mexico is on a bye week this week. I think I was seeing the chart that they're selling tickets for their next home game.
Yeah.
And they're trying to, get the colors to change from whatever, gray to red or red to gray or something like that. But yes, thank you for that. I may have misspoke on when they play. Bill, Surf City Bill, got to say it correctly. He's got 33-24 Boise State, so he does not think Boise clears the spread of 10.5. He thinks they only clear by 9. So we shall see. I think Boise probably scores more than 33 points. That's where I'm at.
So Surf City Bill is a Boise fan.
Yes, he is.
And so I monitor some different Boise Facebook pages, and they're still kind of pessimistic. They're still licking their wounds from that USF win.
Okay.
And I think in general the mood around Boise fans is because their expectations are so high.
Well, they've been crushed, honestly.
Yeah, yes.
I mean, they want the CFP, they want the
CFP or bust.
They want,
yes.
Yeah.
So I think I'm just going to throw this. I'm going to throw a blanket thing on Surf City Bill. Just in general, Boise fans I think are a little bit more pessimistic. But as we go through the season and if they start to roll up wins and wins and wins, especially if they can perform pretty well against Notre Dame, maybe we see the attitude change a little bit there. Or an upset at Notre Dame. Last year, was it last year or the year before? The Northern Illinois upset Notre Dame.
That was last year.
Yeah.
Yes, shout out to the Huskies. Moses in the house. Bill, I know Bill, shout out to Bill, that college football guy.
Yeah.
The amount of previews that guy did, oh my, I don't know how he did them.
Yeah, he needs a raise.
I agree. Let's raise his salary here. But anyway, he thought Nevada and Air Force would be battling for last place in the Mountain West.
No.
Nevada, 100% at this point, yeah. Air Force, I don't think they're last place in the Mountain West. I would probably disagree with you, but man, that passing offense was not good. As Rumbling said, they look bad.
Yeah.
All right, let's go on. UTSA at Colorado State. Colorado State, a team I'm like, Trying to figure out. It's like every year. This is the third year doing this, and it's the same damn team that I don't know who they are. You think they're going to be good, but they're not good. And I know Colorado State Rams fans, oh, we were good last year. You had an easier schedule. I'm sorry. You just did. You're a 500 team continually.
Then you screwed the pooch at the end of the season when you had a chance.
Absolutely. Which means you weren't that freaking good. I'm sorry. I'm going off on the Colorado State Rams right now. But UTSA coming to town. Line is 4.5. UTSA is the favorite. Colorado State needed some help to win their last game against Northern Colorado. I don't have trust here in this offense. I think depending on what happens this season, we've talked about this, Norvell, we'll see what happens with the coach there because, man, he just hasn't ascended like they thought he was going to. And Steve, I'm taking UTSA minus 4.5. I have no trust in Colorado State.
I knew that you were going to pick this game this way as soon as I saw the matchup in the line. And honestly, I'm a little surprised that you didn't even lock it.
Okay,
I thought this might be one of your locks.
Well, I'm not going to lock it, but man, that is a team. Somebody mentioned earlier they're like, Jekyll and hiding Hawaii, which I feel like I've got them figured out pretty good this year. Colorado State's,
So Mario says that he's pretty sure, if he remembers correctly, Bill, I'm sure he's talking about that college football guy, picked the Lobos to go 7-5. One thing, so Bill, he's a Vols fan, Tennessee Volunteers fan.
He is.
He's in the SEC world. But one thing I've realized with Bill is he has a good understanding of Western football.
Oh, yeah.
Which I do not. You do. I do not. He definitely seems to have his thumb. And I know he lived in Vegas before and all that stuff, but he definitely follows those. So if he had the Lobos going 7-5, then good on him because they look like they're tracking to go meet that record or exceed it. And I don't think very many other people would have had the Lobos going 7-5.
Agreed.
I'm guessing you didn't have them winning 7 games.
No, I did not. I don't remember what I had. It wasn't 7-5.
Yeah.
I can tell you that much. Okay, let's go to a game that I definitely will be watching. So I definitely am. I'm going to try to catch some of the UNLV Miami game. I'm going to try to catch some of the Boise State Air Force game. I do have a Oktoberfest to go to on Saturday.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm going to be doing that at some point. And then I will absolutely be watching the Wyoming Colorado game. This game is on ESPN, if I remember correctly. And the Pokes are getting 13.5 points. I saw them at one point. They were getting 14, and I loved them getting 14. Yeah. But I'm still going to take them at 13.5. I personally liked what I saw against Utah. I mean, that is a much better team than Colorado. Yes. Those lines are beastly. Somebody was making some comments earlier about Utah in the chat. And I like where Wyoming's going. Coach Savell said, we could have a really strong team. Now, a lot of coaches could say that. But I agree with him. I see what I see in this team and the fight that they have and the way they play. Yes, they make mistakes. But I totally agree with him. And I'm not being a homer in this pick. I'm not. I really think they can clear this line of 13.5 versus Colorado. So I'm taking Wyoming here, Steve.
I'm not surprised at all. Colorado is kind of in shambles right now. Their quarterback situation is a mess, and they're still trying to find.
Have they gone through 3 quarterbacks now? I think.
Well, it was kind of weird. They just suddenly decided to start the third quarterback because Dion had a vision or something that he should start. Some kind of crazy thing like that. It is what it is. They're Colorado. They're in a bit of turmoil. They don't have some of the high end talent that they had the last couple of years.
Yes.
They're a team, a phrase that you like to use, on tilt at this point. So I like the pick. This is another game I thought you might lock. Yeah. And I'll be honest, I think Colorado probably wins this game. 75% chance.
I agree. I don't think Wyoming can pull the upset, but
to me, I think there's a possibility. I would not be shocked. Just because of Wyoming continuing to improve, they're a better team than last year, and Colorado, they're just on tilt. Yeah. They're like a UCLA. We just saw the Lobos upset UCLA.
Right.
It could be a similar thing to
Good point. Yeah, that's a good point.
I want to say, so Tyler is asking about North Dakota State
Yes.
football moving yet.
Yes.
You talk about this a lot. We've done a bunch of different videos about potential candidates to move. You're always kind of tracking that stuff on Twitter. I will say, we have some of our members on here. If you join our membership and we get you in the Discord, we have actually a couple of North Dakota State fans in there that are pretty active in discussing things with you, and we have a channel in our Discord that is dedicated to expansion news.
We do.
And in my opinion, you're a little bit more free in there with some of the stuff that you talk about than what you're willing to go on record.
Do I have to be careful?
No, I don't think so. I think it's a good thing. For you speculate a little bit more or whatever. It's just because you're not necessarily on the record. It's a little more behind the scenes. So,
yeah. Sure.
If for our North Dakota State fans, I recommend get a membership, get whatever membership level you need to get into our Discord, and you can chat with JY and tag them and get that question kind of offline.
Well, I will. Let me answer. Let me just say, there's a lot of Wyoming love right now going on in the chat. So thank you so much. Austin mentions their defense is looking good. Offense has to get better to help out the defense. I totally agree with you. But I'm impressed with this defense. The secondary I thought looked really good against Utah. Again, when you compare who they were playing against. Yes, I know Utah beat the spread by a half a point and yada, yada, yada. I know all that. But you got to couch that around what you thought this Wyoming team was going to be and what you're getting out of them. And I'm getting more right now than I was expecting. Not a lot, but more than I was expecting. A lot of that on the defensive side, Austin. And Tyler, to your question, I do have a Mountain West episode coming out tomorrow. No groundbreaking things. I'll let you all know now. But we talk membership, we talk lawsuits, we talk media, we talk GCU. I do mentioned North Dakota State. Now, I'll tell you all right now, I am still confident in saying the same thing I've been saying since January. I don't think the Mountain West is done adding schools. That doesn't mean it happens in 26. It could be 27. I think some of that's litigation, everything that's going on. And I'm not trying to get anybody hopes up. But the fact that Gloria Navarez continues to use the word "we're on a pause" right now leads me to believe, and other reasons that I'm not going to get into, that the Mountain West is not done adding members.
Yeah.
And my hope is that they're not, too. But I honestly believe that's the case. All right. Let's keep going. Cal at San Diego State, a team that pooed the bed against Washington State 2 weeks ago. And Cal looking pretty good. I mean, they're putting up some points.
Yep.
The line here, I was surprised at. I don't know if you were surprised. 12.5. Yes, the game is in San Diego, but I'm taking Cal minus 12.5, and I'm making it a Big Mountain ice cold lock. I love this line. I love where Cal's at. I don't like where San Diego State is at. And I mean, I was surprised that the line was only 12.5. That's why I'm locking it. Incredible to me. What are your thoughts? Do you have any thoughts?
Yeah, I thought.
Am I too positive on Cal?
No, I agree with what you said. I thought the line might be a little bit bigger.
Yeah.
So anytime the line is smaller, I mean, than you think it should be. I think Vegas is still trying to figure out exactly what to do with Cal at this
right.
point.
Yeah.
There was very low expectations for them coming into the season. It looked like they were kind of a mess. They were kind of like in a shambles. But as they've been playing, they've looked good. And what's really big about them, they have this young quarterback. I think he's either true freshman or redshirt freshman. Been playing out of his mind really, really well. So I think you're right on there. Especially, I agree with thinking that the line. I was surprised at the line. I thought it'd been closer to 20. I really
Yeah,
did.
I'm
or
at
maybe
20.
even over 20.
Yeah, I'm at 20 and 21.
Yeah.
That's where I'm at too. So if I'm giving, if I got a touchdown plus leeway here, that's lock scenario for me.
Yep.
So this was an easy lock for me. I don't want to be overly confident. I see some people saying, Cal by a lot, SDU is terrible and all that kind of jazz. But this was, when I looked at my slate, this was my first lock. When I was looking, I'm like, this is a lock. I mean, no brainer for me. I'm locking this game. All right, Fresno State at Hawaii. We've talked about this game. We talked about it in our G6 rankings. For those that didn't see our G6 rankings, make sure you go and check that out. Would love to hear your guys' comments here, too. What maybe did we get wrong? Don't say UNM. We got plenty of comments that UNM we didn't get in the top 10, so we've heard that one plenty. But if you have other comments about that G6 ranking, it was the first time we've done that. and it was fun, and we'll do that every 2 weeks. But this one is a very important one, not just for the rankings, but for these two teams. Fresno State, the team that Steve has as his biggest surprise in our poll from earlier, and Hawaii, who's come out of the gate looking really, really good. The line here, Hawaii is the dog, pun intended, in this game at home, 2.5, and I'm going to take the points with Hawaii. I like this team, and I know Fresno State has outperformed clearly your expectations, my expectations as well. They have to travel to the islands. This is a special game that we don't know when we're going to see this game again. I mean, Fresno State Hawaii has always been kind of one of those special games within the Mountain West and historically. So I think this is an important game for this season. This is an important game between two teams that do have a history. But I like the Hawaii pass game better than what Fresno State's able to bring. Yes, E.J. Warner had a good game last week against Southern. Happy that the kid gets on track, but he's still turnover prone. I need to see a lot more from that kid until I'm confident in the Fresno State offense. So I'm taking the points with the home dog here in this one, Steve. I just like Hawaii.
Yeah, to me, I mean, I think this is kind of a coin flip game, so it makes sense where the line is at being under. Anytime the line is under where the home team is the favorite by just under a field goal, means it's basically a coin flip game. I don't have any expectations on this game. I was high on Hawaii coming into the season, as were you.
Yeah.
To me, Fresno has really exceeded my expectations. I think they've looked pretty solid. I'll just say I think whoever wins this will be in a very good spot to be that challenger that maybe can sneak into a Mountain West championship game and play the winner of UNLV Boise.
Agree. Yeah, I agree. The winner of this game is set up pretty nicely early on.
Yeah,
early on
yes.
in the Mountain West season. They control their destiny, absolutely. Right. So I agree with you. Fia says got Hawaii at 3.5. Would have loved them at 3.5, but I'm still taking them at 2.5. That's a great parlay, Sophia. I'm with you, taking both UNLV and Hawaii. Would love to know what you got Sam Houston at, Fia. Let us know what you're to round out that three-way parlay.
Well, Fia says 41.5 point spread against Texas.
Oh, okay. All right. Gotcha. Okay.
The thing with that is Texas is definitely 41.5 points better than Sam Houston. They really are. Just if you just line up their talent. The problem is how is Arch Manning going to play? Can he get the ball to the talent? Because if he does, they're going to I don't know that Sam Houston will score against. Texas has a really good defense. They held Ohio State to 10 points or 14 points. Their defense is probably not getting enough attention as it should because everyone's focused on Arch Manning. Right. So if Arch Manning can just be and be okay and just work the offense. A lot of people took shots at Quinn Ewers the last couple of years, but if he could just be the level that Quinn Ewers was, even Quinn Ewers injured the last 2 years, I think that they will roll, or Texas will roll. But is he going to do that? He's played really, really bad so far. So it's hard to tell.
So we got a good mix in the chat with we got some people like Hawaii. We got some people like in Fresno. This is a midnight game for us on the East Coast. I have to be drinking some caffeine because I want to see this game, Steve.
Yes.
I'm very excited, but it's a very late game for us at the same time. And I'll be coming off of the Wyoming Colorado game. So if that's a good game, I'll be all juiced up from that game anyway, and I'll be pulling over to this game.
Well, and for me, Michigan State at USC is 11 p.m. start. So
yes, okay.
It's going to be a real late.
You will keep each other up.
Yeah, hopefully.
You come and goose me, and I'll goose you, and I'll call it a night. All right, I also have an over in this.
Call it a normal Thursday.
Well, I have an over in this game as well. I have 3 over-unders. This is my number 2, and I'm going to go over the 47.5 for the game total. So I'm not picking a team. I'm picking the entire game over 47.5. I'm pretty confident one of these teams is into the 30s. I think the other one's they're both into the 20s. I'll be shocked if both teams don't get into the 20s. And I think one gets up into the 30s. So I think we go over 47.5 here in this game. And I just hope it's a good, give me a 30-28 Hawaii win for my betting, picks. Give me a 30-28 Hawaii win and we're good to go. That's what I'm going. So there's my second over-under. And that's it for the Mountain West, Steve. We're going to go to some other picks. I'm going to make these first two really short. You already picked them, and I agree with you. Oregon State at Oregon, minus 35.5. You locked Oregon. Mm-hmm. I'm not locking, but I'm also picking Oregon. I think they put up so many points in this game. I said it before, I'm glad JEH isn't here. I really think Oregon State starts 0-5. That's where I have them. I have them as 0-5, and this could be a bloodbath.
Yeah, it's starting to. You look at their record so far, their schedule, and you really start to wonder, where are they going to get wins?
I don't know.
It's tough.
Not in the first half of the schedule, they're not. All right, Washington State, minus 20.5 for Washington. I really was going to lock this double, but I'm like, nah, I'll let Steve have the lock. I'm not going to double lock it. I totally agree. I'm shocked how low this line is. If you didn't lock it, I would have locked it. I love this pick. Washington, minus 20.5. Everything you said, I agree with. I won't belabor the point and crap on the freaking Cougars anymore. But so I'm going against both of the PAC 2 in their traditional rivalries, in-state rivalries by pretty large spreads. I think they both get spanked. All right, let's go to NIU, Mississippi State. As we said, we're going to be picking NIU, or I'm going to be picking NIU all season. I'm 0-2 on them. We got to right the ship here. NIU, Michigan. The line is 21.5. I trust the defense of the Huskies to keep it within 3 touchdowns. So I'm taking the points with NIU plus 21.5. And I got to get on the right side of the picks. I told A.D. Frazier I'm struggling with his Huskies right now because I had him covering week 1 and they didn't. I had them not covering week 2 and they did. Yeah. And we got to get this right here, Huskies. Let's go.
Yeah, well, we had a nice interview with A.D. Frazier. We were both wearing our Cardinal and black.
Absolutely, I'll remember that now for forever. Yeah, Cardinal and black.
Yeah, I don't wear red in general, so I was really happy when he told me it's not red, it's Cardinal.
Yes.
I understand your reasoning, and it's just one of those things. I'd be a little careful on this one. Mississippi State, I think, is a real good team. I like your reasonings. I wouldn't bet the house. I wouldn't bet the mortgage.
I'm not betting it. Yeah. I'm just picking it.
Okay, all
right. Because I will pick every NIU game. Yeah, no, I'm not going to bet this game. No, I don't like this game to bet at all.
Yeah.
I actually like betting most of my picks so far. This game I do not like to bet. You can just tell me you don't like my picks.
No, it's not. It's really not that I don't like the pick. It's just I would. Some I really, really, really like, and I'm like, yeah, let's go for it. That's one of those I'd be a little worried just because I saw some rankings that came out. There's some people that have Mississippi State. If you didn't go off of last year at all, the Mississippi State could be the number 1 ranked team in the country right now based on some metrics and things. So,
wow.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy. So.
That is crazy. All right, let's get to our last one. It is UTEP night. I got Pay Dirt Pete on my shirt. We're drinking what are we drinking? The Minor Brew from El Paso, the Dead Beach Brewery in El Paso, Texas. And I'm picking the Miners versus UL Monroe. The line here, 5.5. I like what UTEP's doing. I like what the coach is doing. Malachi Nelson's only going to get more confident the more he plays. Great confidence builder here, playing at home versus UL Monroe, University of Louisiana Monroe. The line, in my opinion, only 5.5. I was surprised it was this low. And we're making it an ice-cold lock, because that's what we do with the Miners tonight, Steve.
Boom.
Ice-cold lock. It is an other pick, but I don't care. I like the Miners here. I think they roll in this game. I don't like what UL Monroe has coming to town here in El Paso. And I'm very comfortable with this. My 3rd lock and our 7th lock of the night.
Yeah, I'm with you on this, and I like what UTEP has going on. I think they're a team that I think is going to keep getting better as the season goes on. Malachi Nelson, like you said, he just needs reps. He needs game time. He needs things to build his confidence. And I hope we can see that all through this season and have him come back next year. Because next year, I think he could be a real force playing in the Mountain West, getting a ton of experience this year. And I like them this week to win. The lock doesn't surprise me. And like I said, I think this is great for Malachi Nelson. Keep getting those reps. I mean, he basically played even with Arch Manning in that game. So yeah, just keep playing, keep doing your thing. I like the coaching staff there. Yep. I think they're doing things the right way. And again, I like them getting the win this week. But to me, for this year, as I've said before, the win-loss record is not as nearly as important as just building confidence. Give the fans something to be excited for and cheer for and root for. And I think the coaching staff is doing that.
Well, Jacob's going to be getting hammered on the Minor Brew this Saturday, baby. Hopefully at the game. So that's fantastic. And Luke, good to have you here, Luke. UTEP will win, he says. Well, I hope they win, and I hope they cover 5.5.
And you're doing the over/under pick.
I'm also going to take the over 26.5 on UTEP. I think they score plenty of points to hit their own over. So that is 2 picks that I have going over for the team. So I'm over Boise State 30.5. I'm over UTEP 26.5. And I'm going over the game, 47.5. I usually only like to pick overs because picking unders is lame.
A couple years ago when we first started doing this, somebody gave us the analogy, it's like kissing your sister. Rooting for an over.
It's watching a game hoping they don't score.
Which is no
Who
fun.
the hell wants to watch a football game hoping people don't score?
Yeah.
I sure as hell don't.
Right.
That's why I watch the Mountain West. I want people to score points.
Absolutely.
The only time I take the under is with Iowa. And that's in years past. This is kind of a little bit of a different Iowa than a normal. So, all right. Well, there are all of our picks. A whopping 24, Steve, with 7, almost a third, 7 locks, and I love them all. I got to go. I didn't get your locks ahead of time.
Yeah.
And I got to make some bets, especially USC. I'm not on USC yet.
Oh, okay.
I got to go put some money on USC.
Yeah, I love that. I love that line. I like the Maryland line at 10.5 points. I like your Boise line there. I like your Cal line. I like you know what? I like all the locks. I think we're going 7-0 on locks this week.
If we do,
I'm throwing down the gauntlet.
Okie dokie. I'm not going to tell you people what I would do because I'll get kicked off of YouTube. I like that score, Hard Rockin', 31-16. I meant to say I took the over 26.5 because I like UTEP into the 30s.
Yeah.
I agree with you, Hard Rockin', that UTEP gets into the 30s here in this game, gets the over for me, and also easily covers that 5.5. So, all right. Well, as I said, I have a Mountain West update coming out tomorrow, and we will, of course, do recaps early next week. Steve does his 10 big things. I just do a reaction video on some of this. I got a lot of games I want to watch, so hopefully I'll be having a fairly large recap video.
Another big event. We talked about some events. 10 days is the whiteouts. I'll be at the whiteout.
That's right.
Penn State will be hosting Oregon. Expect, unless something crazy happens with the Beavs this week, I expect both teams to be undefeated and in the top 5. That will be the first, and if so, that'll be the first ever whiteout between 2 top 5 teams. Which
is that right?
First time ever.
Wow. Well, that'll be very, very cool. They do have a whiteout brew, but it's a double IPA, and you are not an IPA.
No, I'll stick with a state light. I got a couple cases of that, and
I think you got to maybe drink 6 state lights to equal 1 double IPA, but that's okay. I know you're good for
challenge accepted.
All right. Hey guys, thank you guys so much. We love all the chatter there, giving us your thoughts on who we're picking and scores, and I love people putting down the exact scores in the chat. That's so cool. Hopefully got to all your questions, and of course we'll keep doing this every Wednesday night, live pick shows throughout the entire season. Thank you so much for watching. Hit that like button on the way out, and we'll see you next time on the Big Mountain.